With Just a Robot's involvement in the Cinebear 03 drama, I had a feeling that there was going to be people that previously criticized and took a swing at Just a Robot reappearing to proclaim that they were right about him. Little did I know it was going to be one of the worst ones possible. No one asked. A very fitting name for the dog shit takes that she has. Now, if you have no idea what I'm talking about, this individual back around 2021, 2022 took part in the dogpiling crusade of smearing Just a Robot with the racist accusations. And I'm not saying that to pretend as though there isn't anything that Just a Robot said that would warrant the claim. I'm saying it because the claims being made at that time were complete dog shit. And she was one of the proprietors, the pushers of those claims. It was something that the art commentary community latched onto because A, identity politics, and they fiend for anything that is laced with identity politics, and B, because she waved around her status as X, Y, and Z as a means of going at Just a Robot. I'm willing to bet that'll happen in this video too. The video is titled, I Was Right About Just a Robot, and I'm bitter. And the thumbnail has anti-blackness, microaggressions, and racism all throughout the background of it. Now let's take a look at this video.
So let me reiterate, I do not want to talk about the racist robot man anymore. I've said my piece, I got my grievances out, I want to be done.
So that was a fucking lie.
Hey guys, it's Noah, and this is going to be a quick video rant. Just me getting my feelings out my system, get my personal opinion that no one asked for, all that jazz. As y'all already know, Just a Robot has been getting his ass beat in video format for defending a groomer and being a general weirdo. He messed up so badly that this situation has expanded past the art commentary sphere and into commentary bro territory. And once the commentary bros get a hold of you, only God can help you at that point. Like, those people do not care. It is isms and phobias galore over there, and they won't stop dragging you until they're bored. Having people see what I've been seeing is a cathartic experience, but it's also been really frustrating. Because with the exception of him being a creep, I criticized Jar for the same awful behavior years ago. In my last video on him, I talked about Jar not doing basic research, speaking on shit he knows nothing about, not grasping information that's been explained to him over and over again, bringing up unrelated YouTubers as a deflection tactic. The list goes on and on. Like, I said it. I said the thing. Like, I spent over 2 hours explaining my grievances with this man, and I was attacked for it.
Oh, I see. We're playing the victim card. Classic art-tard. Start shit, make some really laughable, terrible arguments, and then consider yourself a victim of having been attacked because no one bought the bullshit. Classic. Okay, so since we're doing that, I think I'm gonna have to be the one to remind people the problems with her video, because the fact that I get a sneaking suspicion, it's just a suspicion so far, that she's not going to enlighten the audience as to why people didn't like her videos on Just a Robot.
So when I see these larger white creators getting praised for calling out the same behavior,
you have to be fucking kidding me. So when I see these larger white creators getting praised for calling out the same behavior, oh my god. It is perpetual victimhood with these people. All these people do in every situation that they get involved in is just make it about race. Even something that's not about race, they make it about race because that's all they have to them. That's all that they have. They want to pretend something is deeper than it is because deep down, they're extremely shallow people, and no one asked is exactly that. This situation has nothing to do with it. The fact that some of these streamers are white people have nothing to do with why they're being listened to. It's because he made a very laughably horrible mistake. A big video that blew up, that got all these people, but no one asked, looks at this situation and she sees race first. And because she's bitter that her horrible fucking video flopped, she has to make it about race because, again, perpetual victimhood.
it's aggravating, not gonna lie. When I explained why Jar's content offended me as a black person.
Why Jar's content offended me as a black person? No one gives a fuck that you're black. No one cares. That's what your name should be. No one cares. Not no one asked. No one cares. Because your race has nothing to do with it. You being offended as a black person doesn't inherently make you right. And that's a problem that people like you are going to have to accept. It's a hard pill to swallow, but you're going to have to accept it. You being a certain race and being offended by something does not inherently give your point or your claim or you being offended merit. No one cares that you're offended, and no one cares about your race. If something is racist, instead of starting it off by waving around your race like it's a fucking flag, how about you provide the definition of racism, the specific act, and how it actually meets the criteria of what racism is. But you don't fucking do that. You literally just cry out racism and expect people to buy it because of your race. You expect to be listened to because of your race. It is delusional entitlement. But because you surround yourself in this hug box that affirms this notion that being offended at something inherently makes you right, or that being a particular race means that you should inherently be listened to, you've got this overblown idea as to what your word is worth, and especially how to even make a fucking argument and put it out to the public. This is the danger of political hug boxes, and especially ones to do with identity politics. You get people like no one asked that have no idea how anything fucking operates and just throws garbage out there hoping it sticks.
I was called a liar despite me always having video evidence of the things I was referring to.
Are you going to tell the audience why you were called a liar? No, probably not. Probably not. It's a little inconvenient for this little video where you pretend that you were right all along. So I'll have to do that for you. So I'm going to link some stuff down below for you guys to watch so you can see the issues with her videos on Just a Robot. But for a quick example here that you can see in the resources that'll be linked down below, one of the things that Noah did was heavily rely on prison mate Luke's talking points. And the problem with that is not that it's from prison mate Luke, it's that Luke had to cut context and omit information to even use those talking points. One of the instances that prison mate Luke used, that no one asked went on to use, was that Just a Robot said the N-word, while omitting the fact that he was quoting someone else who said it. Noah used the argument that Jar just being white and saying it was in and of itself racist, completely ignoring the context of its usage and simply using the fact that he was a white person saying the word as a basis for racism. That's how fucking desperate she was. But it gets even better. How about a more clear-cut example? Her statement earlier about the fact that Jar didn't do his research, she specifically says that and said that in her videos on Just a Robot, in reference to when he talked about the nightclub shooting. Well, as it turns out, her correction of Just a Robot talking on the nightclub shooting was wrong. Both of them were wrong about it, and when that was pointed out, she then reacted to that in a response video and tried to pretend as though she was still right and ignored the fact that what was just went over completely disproved her point. She pretended as though she was still right, even though she was just shown information that showed the exact opposite of that. And you're shocked that you're called a liar? That people point out that you're dishonest? Okay.
I was called an idiot, a bitch, a racist who hates white people.
Where could people possibly get this idea? You hate white people. That's preposterous. I mean, it's not like just a moment ago you decided to mention that some of the streamers talking about this and getting more attention than you were white. No. You totally didn't do that. Or better yet, how about the fact that in your videos on Just a Robot, you said that you don't really care about the opinions coming from white people. That's a very specific group of people to single out that you don't want listened to, yet you demand to be listened to based off the fact that you're fucking black. The cognitive dissonance is absurd, but better yet, you still took issue with Just a Robot saying that he would continue to say nigga because he wasn't listening to your criticism of him, wasn't listening to a black person's criticism of him, and yet you yourself went on to say the exact same word in your video, which implies, and correct me if I'm wrong, but that implies that you believe it's okay for you to say, but not for him to say because of the color of his skin. So where could people possibly get this idea that you hate white people? You feel the need to point out a particular racial group out of nowhere when it's not relevant to the discussion, and you apply different standards to people based off of their racial group.
Like all kinds of BS. And that was just in my comment section. I don't even know the things that were said about me in the Jar defense videos. I don't even know how many there are. And before someone argues that creators can't control their fans, Jar knows the type of audience he cultivated. He knew what would happen if you respond to someone with 1,000 subscribers. And he actively promoted his subscribers making videos about me. So please miss me at that.
That's also going to be a no. You came at Just a Robot, and now because it didn't play out like you thought it would, you want to play the victim. Had it been the case where Jar came at you, I could understand you pointing out that you only have 1,000 subscribers, and he encouraged his audience to come at you. That was not the case. You saw that he was getting dogpiled at the time, and because you're obsessed with proclaiming racism when there isn't any, that's your professional tactic, is blowing shit way out of proportion into some identity politics narrative of anti-racism bullshit. You saw a perfect opportunity to hop on the bandwagon and peddle the bullshit, and that's exactly what you did, and there are only two reasons your videos did as well as they did in the first place. First is that the art commentary community doesn't like Just a Robot. They never have. Anytime anyone makes a video in that community on someone the larger community doesn't like, the overall community doesn't like, they will buy and eat up anything that's fucking said. I am a perfect example of that. I have been at the receiving end of that numerous times. If someone is hated enough by that community, you can make a video making up whatever the fuck you want about them, and that community will hop on board and write it like a bitch in heat. You saw that it was an opportune moment to dogpile, and you were dishonest in doing so. Secondly, you peddle the same brainless politics that the art commentary community does. And because your video was specifically centered around the brain rot identity politics perspective, that's also why it did really well with that community.
Genuinely, thank you to the people who left supportive comments during that time. Y'all real ones for real. It can be argued that the overall subject matter is different, so that's going to affect public engagement. And I get that. But disagreeing with my perception of this man shouldn't have overshadowed the numerous flaws within his video response to me.
Just a Robot undoubtedly has some pretty shitty videos. The Toby video is just one example, one of which that I've always had an issue with since the fucking day that I watched it. And from what people are saying, the CineBear03 drama is probably one of his worst, if not the worst. I can't provide you my opinion, nor can I speak on it because I haven't watched it yet. So I'm not going to speak on something that I haven't seen yet. So I do recommend watching it so that you can get your own opinion on it. And then if you want to, watch some of the people that have made videos about it. With that said, pretending as though Just a Robot's response to No One Asked is bad is nothing but fucking copium. He was more than fair, more than cordial, to the point that she had to completely ignore what he was saying to even die on the hill of her points. She made Just a Robot look better with her fucking videos. Of course not to the art audience, because they'll eat up anything that's said about people they don't like. But overall, any outsider looking at the situation immediately knew how bad her fucking videos were. I was actually going to cover those videos until it reached a point where I actually got a fucking headache from it. They're so long, and while they're so long, have little substance, if not any fucking substance, depending on which video you're watching.
He spoke on topics that he clearly knew nothing about and never bothered to understand.
Considering this is word for word what she almost said in regards to the nightclub shooting topic from her video talking about Just a Robot's video, I'm 99.9% certain that's what she's referring to when she said this in this video. Problem is, both he and she were wrong, and he actually owned up to this and pointed out that both of them were wrong in his response video. And Noah's reaction to it was to pretend as though she was still in the right. Mind you, the thing that she was pearl clutching over to begin with was relying on a fucking activist trying to lecture people about the situation. I'm not joking either.
If something didn't match his definition of racism, then it can't be racist, even though that's not how things work.
It has nothing to do with his definition of racism. It has something to do with the definition of racism. You see, the No One Asked cycle is this. She proclaims that something in particular is racist, often omitting details or ignoring certain details to complain about it and proclaim it's racist. And instead of citing why it's racist, she instead relies upon the fact that she's black and offended, thinking that that automatically gives her merit and that she should be listened to based off of that alone. Her entire fucking proof as to why it's racist is, I'm black and you need to listen to black people. That's just it.
So why were y'all so surprised that Jar did the exact same thing in his CineBear video? Of course he didn't research the subject matter. Of course his definition of something's the end all be all. Of course he was misinformed and had stupid takes. Like, where have y'all been? Where have y'all been? What he did isn't new behavior, it's a pattern of behavior. Jar did the exact same shit he's always done. He's been getting away with being loud and wrong for 10 years.
It's a little ironic to talk about how someone else has been getting away with being loud and wrong, while you've been continuously loud and wrong. You're trying to memory hole everyone into thinking that your videos were good, as if you actually got anything on Just a Robot. It's kind of pathetic.
He's never had any incentive to change because he knew the art commentary community would either protect him or stay silent.
The art community would stay silent or protect him. Oh, that's cute. You have no idea about the community you surround yourself with. The art community doesn't stay silent about people they don't like. Unless, of course, that person has info on them. And they don't protect people they don't like. They're incapable of staying silent. All they do is bitch, 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 and make shit up for anyone that they don't like. It's been a reoccurring fucking gag. Have the last 4 years just gone in one ear and out the other one?
Defending CineBear wasn't a mistake. It wasn't an oopsie. It was a purposeful decision that he only regrets because the situation blew up. Professor Dreadlocks and the girlfriend straight up told Jar, do not upload that CineBear video. And he did it anyway. You can't tell him nothing. He's ignorant. And Jar said in interviews that he knew he would receive backlash, just not to this extent. Best believe, had this stayed within the art commentary community, he'd be tripling down. He'd be going back and forth with people because he thinks he knows everything. Why did it take this man defending a child being victimized for people to realize Just a Robot sucks as a content creator and as a person? Why wasn't his racism and anti-SJW BS enough?
Because the things you proclaimed were racism weren't racism. And the last one is, he has the politics I don't like.
Why is anti-black racism never enough for y'all to even question someone?
Because the things that you proclaimed were anti-black racism weren't anti-black racism. Do I have to point out that your digital blackface was him using stills that were drawn of his robot character as a black human being? That you said that was blackface? When blackface is using a caricature of black people to point and laugh at, ha ha ha, black people look like this. And you tried to say him looking like a normal black human being because someone drew him as that way was fucking blackface. Yet you want to stand on your high horse about how no one listened to you about racism. Maybe actually have something of substance rather than making shit up. It's just an idea.
Every time these folks get called out for being awful, folks want to act surprised. Like, wow, it's almost like being unapologetically racist is an indication that someone isn't a good person. Who would have thought?
I don't know if you realize this or not, but the longer your video goes, the more painfully obvious it becomes that all that this is copium. You made this video for you, and you made it to tell yourself that you're right. That's all that this is for you to reaffirm this bullshit idea that you have in your head, this skewered, delusional idea that you actually called something out. And it's not kind of pathetic. It is pathetic that this entire time you have firmly believed in this delusion that you actually called just a robot out on something. But I understand why you do. You see, people like you, when you guys are indoctrinated into these kind of perspectives, the anti-racism perspective from identity politics, anytime you hear anything, it goes into your brain and then it's cut up and then spat out of your mouth in a particular way that's going to attract and catch the eyes of other people that have gone through that same sort of socialization through the identity politics lens. It's because people like you seek to do some sort of activism to make it seem like you're actually making a difference and calling something really problematic out. You're really correcting it. You're really noticing it. You're making a difference in the world. That's all that you do it for, is to tell yourself that you're making a difference because ultimately you're afraid that you're not and that you're not going to leave your mark on this world. So you feel the need to blow shit up and make shit up for a call out to give yourself this feeling as though you're making a difference. And not only that, but also to probably tell yourself that you're a good person, that you have the right beliefs, the proper beliefs, and that you're morally virtuous. Thuman and Chuli, in their interview with Beckett, made better points pointing to racism from just a robot than you did. An unscripted interview where they were just asked questions. They made better points than you did in a scripted video.
Another thing that's aggravating is how Jar's whole attitude changes when he knows he's at a disadvantage. When he can't stick his fans on people, it's, oh, I'm not smart, I'm not good at this. When he doesn't have anyone to defend him, it's, oh, I'm autistic and severely dyslexic, I need help doing my job.
You constantly feel the need to mention that you're black, even though it has no fucking relevance when you're trying to make an argument. And yet you want to talk about Jar mentioning the fact that he's autistic or that he's dumb when things are inconvenient for him. And yet when you need to provide an actual fucking argument, you feel the need to wave around your race card. This is just projection. Or better yet, because she does it so much, she can see it when he's doing it.
How convenient. How freaking convenient. This is the man y'all stand and sent me hate over. This is the man y'all decided was more qualified to talk about racism than the actual black person.
I was just talking about the fact that she does this shit. Just a couple of seconds ago, I just recorded it. And then she goes and she does it.
Y'all gave this man pass to pass and now it's biting him in the ass. You love to see it. In conclusion, Just a Robot sucks. He always has and always will. Listen to Black Woman the first time.
She did the thing. She did the actual fucking thing. Listen and learn a black woman is speaking. She unironically put it in her video. Oh my god.
And don't buy into any full apology this man throws together. All this is my personal opinion that no one asked for. Bye.
Oh my god. I'm still thrown back at the fact that she actually said that. Okay. So my advice to you all is to go and watch Alex the Critic's video on No One Asked. Because if you enjoyed this video, or if you are curious about No One Asked and her videos on Just a Robot, because she seems to think that Cinebarrow 3 and what Just a Robot's involvement in that suddenly vindicates her of her dogshit videos, you should watch Alex the Critic's video on No One Asked. It's phenomenal, it's entertaining, and he brings a lot to the fucking table. I'm still just taking it in. I'm still taking it in that she unironically did the meme. Art commentary, folks. Art commentary.